Okay, aloha everyone. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Mira. Good to see you all today. So wow, we have about 12 of us here together, or now 13. So welcome everyone. My name is Annie Thomas. I work as a librarian at Kapi'olani Community College, and I'm born in Hilo, grew up on the windward side of Oahu, and I currently live in Manoa. And so I would love to get to know what schools you're all coming from and what age group you work with or what you teach. So if you can put in the chat, that would be really great. I can kind of find out a little bit more about you, what school you work at, what age group or what grade. Um, that would be awesome. Oh, St. Louis. Okay, great. Thank you so much. We have some elementary. Okay, so at Kapi'olani Community College, I used to work as a Hawaiian Resources librarian, and I'm currently serving in the role as acting head librarian. And my goal today is really just to introduce you to, or perhaps reintroduce you to a few websites that I'm a fan of and that I've used and shared with students and teachers in my work here at Kapi'olani Community College. And I think are really great, excellent resources that you can use to incorporate into your curriculum. If you wanted to connect your students with information about Hawaii, Hawaiian culture, Hawaiian history, language, Aina, the land we belong to, the people within it. So there's a lot of really great free resources out there, like so much, and it was hard to kind of pick. So I kind of picked the top 5 that I thought would be useful. And what I'm going to do, I don't have a slideshow. I'm going to share my screen. And I have a Google form or a Google sheet actually that you should all be able to see. And it's entitled Free Online Resources for Culture and Place-Based Curriculum and Research. And I have a URL, so everyone should be able to view that. And you can access it anytime. And I'm going to kind of use this to jump through and share the websites. And at any time, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I actually don't see the chat now, so I think because I'm sharing my screen. So if you put them in the chat, or if you want to interrupt me, that's fine too. And we can go together, but let's go. Okay, so the first I have here, which some of you might be familiar with, is ulukau.org. This is the Hawaiian Electronic Library. And this was created by Hale Kua Mo'o Hawaiian Language Center with also support by the Alulike Native Hawaiian Library. And some of you may be familiar with it. It has a wide range of digital books, digitized books, and a lot of other great resources. So I'm just gonna click on the link to show you what that landing page looks like. It defaults, it's in Olelo Hawaii in the Hawaiian language. If you don't read Hawaiian, you can click on the top right corner where it says English text, and it'll change the menu and the other text to English. And so you see the search bar. So I'm just gonna kind of browse through the menu. I'm not gonna show you everything, we don't have time, but just some highlights. And one thing that I really love about this site is the digital books available. So if I click on books, I can filter, let's say I'm looking for nonfiction. I'll just click on beginner, intermediate. You can find books in both Hawaiian and English. Maybe I'll just click English to kind of see what's there. And then you can kind of see the covers with all the different titles. And so why don't we share, I'll share you one with you as an example. There's the Hawaii Island Legends. So if I click on the title there, we have the title of the book. I'm going to go in the top right corner and click English. And so it changes the text from Hawaiian to English. And we see we have chapters broken down. And also I can download this whole book in PDF. So if I click original images, actually the entire book appears. Hawaii Island Legends, Pikoi Pele, and others. And I can scroll down. So you can share the whole URL with students if you wanted to assign a reading. There's a table of content. So this entire book is available, and many others are offered through this Ulukau website, which is really amazing. And so that was just going back, Napuke, the book section, and there's quite a variety. We have Hawaiian language books, as well. We have books ranging from picture books to larger texts, and all of them are in full text. Yeah. There's a lot of other features of Ulukau that I'm not going to go through all of them, but let's see. If I click on more, you will even see more features. So there's, you can search Hawaiian language newspapers, there's genealogy research, place names research. There's also this collection of curriculum that has been added, Hawaiian curriculum materials. And so if I click on titles, you can see there are a lot of resources from different organizations have published curriculum materials, and these are available here. So feel free to explore here. There's a lot of great stuff to look through. So if I wanted to look at any of these, I could click on the title, and here it takes me to a resource for grades 9 to 12 biology, Malama Kaho'olawe, and I can look at it by curriculum topic or in its original book format, and then jump to a lesson and kind of get inspired or see if there's anything, you know, you might want to use that would be useful for you in the curriculum shared here. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff. Another feature I want to highlight, which I thought is pretty awesome, they offer is Ed Greavy's photograph collection. So if you're not familiar with Ed Greavy, he's a well-known photographer who has documented a lot of different land struggles in Hawaii. And a lot of his photos have been added to this collection. So a great resource if you're talking about different moments in Hawaii's history, especially as it relates to land issues. So if I, let's look at Halava Valley H3, right? So there was a lot of controversy over the building of the H3 freeway. And so there's photos from that time period. Here we have a photo, Mililani Trask confronting State Director of Transportation, Marilyn Cully, at a demonstration in Halava Valley. And just, there's a lot of really interesting documentation that Ed Greavy has done, and you're able to kind of look through the photos there. That's just another feature of Ulukau I wanted to share. Okay, we gotta move on because I don't have that much time. If anybody has, does anyone have any questions about Ulukau? And I can't see the chat, Debbie, so if you could read them aloud if there are any, otherwise I can move on.
There's no questions at this moment, but
okay.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to put it in there.
Yeah, and there's also, hopefully will be time at the end. Okay, let's go back to my Google Sheet. So that was Ulukau. The next resource I wanted to share is called Hawaii Alive. And this is created by the Bishop Museum. So let's open that up. And they've done a redesign of this site. If you've looked at it in the past, it's a little bit different. But this is a great site where the Bishop Museum has used their collections, resources from their library and archives, and added it to this website that really is meant to be used by teachers. And if you click on About Hawaii Alive, it explains that a little bit. But it's for the general public, for teachers gathering resources to teach Hawaiian language, history, and culture in accordance with DOE content and performance standards. And it has lots of files. So there's images, manuscripts from the Bishop Museum collections, audio files, videos, and these can be downloaded and used for educational purposes. And it's divided up into 3 content areas. They have Vaulani, which is the region of the Hawaiian gods, the chiefs, Kanaka, the region for man, farming, people living and working on the Aina, and then Kaiakea, which covers different topics related to the sea. And so I just wanted to show you an example of what this site looks like. So if I click on Kanaka, so it explains here, this is the inland region where people live and work, where the tasks of the nation are carried out. Considered below Waolani is where the daily life of man takes place, where Hawaiians engage in farming, food preparation, weaving, and constructing shelters. And you'll see as I scroll down, a lot of different images. So each image represents kind of a topic area. So if I click on an image, and here's one we can use as an example. This is a short essay about Papa Holua and Lonoi Makahiki, so the Makahiki season, and the sport of Papa Holua, which is kind of like a Hawaiian sled, right? The Holua sled. So we have a short kind of essay, essay here explaining that practice. And then if I scroll down, there's different resources that are available. So for example, I'll play a short snippet of this Holua video.
This particular implement or artifact is called a Papa Holua. And the Papa Holua was used for sliding down mountains or surfing down mountains. During the Makahiki season, there was competitions that took place. And that's basically, one's willingness to sacrifice themselves to the chief, to the gods. The females were very good at this. Traditionally, all our women, they practiced it religiously. A lot of it is caught up in our old mo'olelo, our stories of old. And so when we look around it, it's usually Pele in competition with various chiefs, male chiefs across Hawaii. And the famous one is actually the competition that takes place between Kahavale, who is a chief of the Puna area, and Pele. And it talks about when she arrives there and she's shunned by all the male chiefs, and they look at her as a woman that shouldn't be there because she can't perform this particular practice, and which kind of angers her. But in the end, they do let her slide, and they mock her. And during that point of mocking her, she unleashes the great eruption and chases Kahavale down the slide and removes the entire village and everyone there.
Okay, I'll stop it there. But just to kind of give you an example, different videos to share a little bit more about the topic. And also, for example, if I click on this Ancient Sports of Hawaii, there's a document section. So they've taken part of the collections of the Bishop Museum and digitized them here. So here we see this kind of typeset document. And if I scroll down, it gives me the information about it. It's actually a translation of an article in a Hawaiian language newspaper published in 1805. And it's entitled Ancient Sports of Hawaii, such as surfing, jumping, sledding, betting, and boxing. And this is from the collection at Bishop Museum, the hand collection, the Hawaiian Ethnological Notes collection in their archives. And so I can, zoom in to read this document. I can print and download this document if I wanted to. If you wanted to share it with others, you could do that. So each topic, or let me go back, each topic in this collection has different resources attached to it. Yeah, so I'll go one more, maybe Waolani, we can look at something else. Leni Hopalawa, and then it talks a little bit about that topic. And then there's some audio and other documents attached. So a lot to explore here, a lot of really cool things. And I think sometimes they add new things, and it's definitely different from when I last looked at it a couple of years ago. So a really great way that the Bishop Museum has tried to make their collections accessible for students and teachers to use. Yeah. So any questions about the Hawaii Alive website? And I'm hoping at the end of this, if there's time left, you'll have more time to use the links and kind of explore on your own as well. I know I'm kind of going kind of quickly through each one, but hopefully you can take my Google Doc and spend time looking more in depth into each site. Okay, not hearing any questions, we can move on. And the next resource I want to talk about is one I really enjoy using. It's called Avakonohiki. This was created through University of Hawaii at Manoa, and I think a lot of graduate students have worked on putting this together. But if you're looking at land and map research or teaching about place names or ahupua'a and ili land division names or maps, this is a really great resource. They've actually digitized a lot of maps and added them to the website. So that's avakonohiki.org. And I'm just on the website now. I'm going to click on New to Ava. And here we see we can choose an area to begin your search. So I'm not going to go into every single area of this site. You can get really down into details at Land Commission Awards. They've scanned and digitized these. If you're searching for like the history of land use or land claims. But what I specifically have more experience using this website for is just to use it to show students who are researching about a certain location or an area that they live. And you can search by location. So if I click search by location, they're still working on other islands, but so far these islands in blue are the islands where they've added maps. And so I'm going to click on Oahu, and there's a nice map that shows the divisions of the moku or the districts of Oahu. And you can download this map. And there's another map that was created by Kamehameha School in 1987. You could also download. So they have the link to download the files. And then you can click on each moku or district. So Kona, and where I am giving you this presentation now, I'm at Kapi'olani Community College, which is in the moku of Kona, right down here. I'm going to click there. And then this overview link, I'm going to click. So you can see there's an overview link, and below that, there's so many maps that they've scanned. So I'm just going to click on the overview link. Just to show you for each district, they will give a little bit of background information. And also what I really like is there's a nice list of ahupua'a o Kona. So those ahupua'a that are found in the Kona district, the different land names, the ahupua'a within, and sometimes even the smaller divisions of land within the ahupua'a, for example, Waikiki, and then the smaller divisions or iwi within Waikiki are listed. And if I wanted to look at some of these maps, here's one from 1952. They have available these TIFF files, which are really large image files, or a PDF file, which is a little bit faster to download. And I'll just download this Waikiki map real quick just to show you an example of just kind of the richness of resources and what you can find. But let's see if this will work. I'm trying to zoom in. You should be able to. So here is a map of Waikiki. Actually, this is from, this is from 1881, I believe. It's a survey. And if I zoom in, and what I think are really cool about looking at these old historic maps is that it really tells you a story about the land use and what has changed over time. And often we'll have the traditional names of the area. So we're looking at the coast of Waikiki over here. I see Halumoa listed, Keomuku, another place name. We have these little divisions, with names of people who claimed these areas. And also you can see the ponds. So where it says local, that's pond, and local, I think this is local kaihi kapu, which is a pond in this area before, I guess before they filled it in. So we can kind of see kind of a look at Waikiki from this time. So anyway, I really enjoy, there's all kinds of maps you can find in different areas that you can download and use. If you look at the menu up here, you'll see you can kind of look by island. I think right now they focus on Oahu and Hawaii Island, and they're working on the others. If I click Maui, there's some maps, definitely. And sometimes some of the students have provided more background information, some of these UH Manoa students for the area. And if you're interested in diving deep into the Hawaii land research, they even have the digitized Buke Mahele, the Mahele book, and also native and foreign testimonies. The LCA index, which is the Land Commission Awards. So I'm not going to go through all that. And then Kumulili Kala, UH Manoa, has videos of her lectures, which are really cool for her Hawaiian studies classes that she's put online on this website. So there is quite a bit of rich information here. So that's kind of why I wanted to share it with you. Any questions about Avakonohiki?
There was a question in the chat that if you want to answer it now or at the end, it's about the Bishop Museum site.
Oh, sure.
The question is, do you know if Bishop Museum has a site with their Hawaiian language oral collections?
Oh, good question. I do not know off the top of my head, but if you go to their website, I have a feeling, I don't know off the top of my head if that's available online, but when this is Pau, my presentation, if you message me your email, I can definitely find that out for you. Yeah, because more and more of Hawaii's repositories, archives, and libraries are working on making their collections more accessible. You might have seen in the news, the Hawaii State Archives is just revamping their digital collections website. And I can't remember if it's released and up or not, but I just saw it in the news this week. So they're putting more of their collections online as well. Yeah. And so let's go back. That was Avakonohiki. Okay, so the next website actually is the Ulu'ulu Henry Ku'ualoha Juni Moving Image Archive of Hawaii. And this archive is located at UH West Oahu. And they are tasked with kind of preserving Hawaii's film and videotape, films and videotapes about Hawaii, and they are digitizing them. And one thing they're really that's really nice to look at on their website is they put clips of what they've been digitizing online for anyone to access. So this is their website, uluulu.hawaii.edu. And if I click explore at the top, so there's a search bar, I like to click explore. And then they actually have these clips grouped by theme. So we have a Creatures of Hawaii theme, transportation, plantation life. I think a volunteer group, Association of Hawaii Archivists, were helping them with some transcription work for videos. Let's click view all. We have clips of music performances, food, a lot of different topics. And so I kind of wanted to show you an example of something. So let's take a look. It's really, I think, cool to be able to show students or show people these voices from the past. And there's a section on Kupuna where there's a few videos. I think there's 9 videos. And so I love this one of Nona Beamer. And some of these clips, actually, they might have taken some footage or digitized footage from programs that actually were produced and shown on television during the time. And then there was a lot of extra back footage, and they've been digitizing those. So I just wanted to show you this short clip, which is an interview with Auntie Nona Beamer. And let me go ahead and play that.
My grandmother, Helen DeShay Beamer. My mother married into the Beamer family. Her people were from Ho'okena, and her mother was a kahuna la'au lapa'au. So they were not familiar with the chanting and the dance. So mother learned it at the same time I was learning it from sweetheart grandma, Helen DeShay Beamer. They lived in Hilo, right by the Wailuku River.
Did she teach you the Hawaiian language?
Yes, because they only spoke Hawaiian among themselves, of course, with...
Okay, I'll ask it again. Oh, wait. Is that automobile bothering you?
He's waiting for one to come up, I think. Oh, no.
Who taught you your Hawaiian language?
Well, great-grandmother, Isabella Kalili, was our mentor, and she was my grandmother's mother. She married great-grandfather George DeShay, who was postmaster in Hilo. So whenever we didn't say anything right, great-grandma would be the one that would say, "Keo no hoi mu lili, konoko." So we tried to say things right. But sweetheart grandma was our primary teacher. And then, of course, when we moved to Naupo'opo'o, my mother taught school there, and Papa was putting up the poles. They were just getting electric lights there in Naupo'opo'o. So my mother was our prime teacher there.
Who was the person that influenced you throughout most of your life in the Hawaiian culture?
Oh, my grandmother. Yes.
And what do you remember of those times?
Well, lots of laughter. And she was so good about answering questions, and it always puzzled me about who these characters were in the chants, you know. And I wanted to know about the places that we were chanting about. And of course, sometimes, later on I realized that she would make the stories a little suitable for children.
Okay, so that's just a short 2.5-minute clip, but I just love that we're able to revisit these kupuna and these events in Hawaiian history through this resource. And just to show you, if I go to the About section of their website, there's an FAQ section. And one thing is, I know that Ulu Ulu, if you are interested in seeing a full-length video or sharing a longer portion of a video, you can contact them. I think sometimes, I'm not sure 100% if this is the case, but sometimes they might be able to share by request a longer clip of a video or full length of the video. So for educational purposes. So, and there's their contact information there. Yeah, but it's just a really fun resource to explore and watch what they have in their collection. Yeah. So any questions about Ulu Ulu?
Can I ask question?
Yes.
Where is Uru Uru collection?
It's at UH West Oahu campus.
Oh, UH Oahu campus.
Yeah, West Oahu.
West Oahu campus.
Yeah.
Because my hula teacher, Bima style. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And
okay.
I don't know about how they're handling visitors now, but you could always reach out to them to ask more questions or to see. But yeah, it's in the library, the West Oahu library.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we've gone to Ulukau, Hawaii Alive, Avakonohiki, that was Ulu, and I thought I'd share another kind of audio visual resource, which some of you are probably familiar with, called it's OevTV. And they produce documentaries, news, and multimedia content from a uniquely Hawaiian perspective. And so they have a website, and I think they're also available. I don't have cable television, but I think you can access them on cable TV sometimes, if I'm not mistaken. And they're a really great resource. Their website can be sometimes challenging to find certain things. But if I click on stories, oh no, wait, if I hover above stories, it'll kind of break down their content by category. Culture, environment, education, music, and there's a lot to go through. They've been adding a lot of content and produce a lot of content. Really great things. There's content in Hawaiian language as well as English. And one series that I really like is the Na Loea series. So I'm just gonna search for it because I'm, let's see, should be coming up. Na Loea, which is the Masters series, and it features different people in Hawaii, really experts in their field and cultural experts and very knowledgeable members of our community. And so I just wanted to show you a short clip. This is too long to show you the whole thing, but here's one example of Na Loea, and this features Ed Wendt. And the title of this section of the series is The Great Heart of Waiokane. And I'm not going to show the whole thing, but he is a advocate for Native Hawaiian rights on Maui, and there's been an ongoing battle over water rights on different islands. This is especially focusing on Maui, and I just wanted to show you a really short clip of this.
This is Halo. Legends say we come from Halwa. Legends say this is our brother. Then why not take care of our brother? That's how I look at him. So this place, I'm a lineal descendant. And my family farm way before me, and me and my children been holding up the farm. The lands were passed on down to us. It was not purchased. We didn't have to buy these lands. But as one Kanaka, and your kupuna give you something, you better cherish them. Because if you don't, one day you're going to realize what you had. But it'll be too late.
Okay, I'll stop it there, but this is just such a great source of media and different community events, and just a lot. And I also wanted to show one other example under stories. Let's see, come on, if I hover over it, oh, just let me click there. Under language, so there's also quite a lot of Hawaiian language content. And I don't know if any of you were able to see the play La'ie I Kawai, but I was just, when I was looking through the site, it was an amazing Hawaiian language play, and it is now available on this site with English subtitles about the story of La'ie I Kawai. So that was another, I just wanted to point that out because I hadn't seen it there before, and I saw it when I was getting ready for this presentation. So if you have time, I would recommend watching that. But yeah, okay, let's see. I think I just have about less than 10 minutes left. So there's so many things to share, and I just kind of highlighted a few, and I'm gonna stop my sharing my screen. Let's see, stop share. And okay, hi everyone. So let me put the URL to this Google Doc into the chat. I guess I see a lot of you are there. And so, oh, somebody already put it. Great, thank you. Okay. Oh, Hawaiian language oral collections. You know, for the question about that, I wanted to share Ulukau has on their website, and let me share one more time on my screen. I just want to answer that question real quick. Okay, Ulukau. See on the Ulukau website, Kani Aina. And this is really cool. There was a Hawaiian language program, right, on the radio. There's two, Kaleo Hawaii and Kui Kamana Leo. And these have been recorded and now made available on Ulukau website. So, and I can change it to the English if you don't speak Hawaiian. There's a collection of short excerpts from the radio program Kaleo Hawaii. So this might not be the question you're asking, but it is a really great source of sort of oral histories in the Hawaiian language. And if I browse by title, you can kind of see some of the topics that are available. They had different people calling in, sharing information. Let's see if I click on this one, Surfing at Waimea in Foreign Times. And this was Larry Kimura at UH Hilo had this program. And I'll just...
Kaulana ke la wahi Waimea I ka he nalu ke ia maula.
Ai pi ha ke la wahi.
Pehe ka wā mamua.
No ko me ke la manawa ka he nalu ale me nui lo ia maula. Ali ke me ke ia la maula. Mamua.
Okay, so that's just, I just thought I'd share, but it's a really great resource, and you can see they have the transcription and they have the audio and they highlight the part where they're speaking. So also really good for Hawaiian language learners. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, no one used of Ulukau. Okay. Oh, Bishop Museum. I see. Start making their collection available. That I'm not sure of. Yeah. But I have your email, so I will look into that for you and I can get back to you about that. Any other questions? Oh, Hawaiian music history resources. That is, I'm not sure, not off the top of my head. Does anyone else in this meeting know any good Hawaiian music history resources? There is an exhibit at Bishop Museum right now about, I think, the history of Hawaiian string music. No, it's okay. Okay, yeah. Oh yes, huapala.org has a lot of songs, perhaps Ulukau. Also, I didn't mention it here, but if you are not familiar with a Papa Kilo database by the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, if you Google Papa Kilo database, they've sort of created this digital collection of digital collections. So they're pulling things from Ulukau, from other digital resources online. Papa Kilo. I was thinking of sharing that one, but it's just so like much that it could probably someone from Papa Kilo could do a better presentation about Papa Kilo. But papakilodatabase.com, I can put in the chat, is another one for genealogy, for land records, and maybe other archival resources on music, whatever. But yeah. Any other questions that I probably don't know the answer to? Well, that went faster than I thought, or slower than I thought it would. We only have about 5 minutes left. Yeah, Debbie. Yeah, so thank you so much for all of your time and for joining me today. And I hope some of you learned about something, a new resource that you could use in your class with your students. Yeah, feel free share with others if you're excited about something you see today and want to share it. And my email is on the Google Doc. It's athomas@hawaii.edu. Yeah. So let's see, Kivia, I will get back to you. I'll look into Bishop Museum oral histories, and then otherwise, I hope the rest of you have a really great rest of your day. Okay, mahalo nui.
Let's give a warm mahalo to Annie Thomas and for everyone's participation. We hope you found this session helpful and made some valuable connections. Please help us complete the evaluation, which I'm going to put in the chat right now. Let's see, there you go. If you complete the evaluation, it'll be open after all the sessions. So after this next session, you'll be entered to win one of $25 Starbucks gift cards. We again would like to say thank you to the Augustine Educational Foundation and Sacred Hearts Academy. Much mahalo for attending this session, and we hope you enjoy the last session of today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, just leave.